Hi, Gabriel, how are you?
I'm very, very good, Dipali. Thank you.
Yes, before I start all of our conversations that I'm looking forward to, I would first want to know what is the meaning of your name, Gabriel. It's a beautiful name.
Kavyal is derived from kavya. Kavya is poetry. So kavyal means someone who can write poetry.
Oh, how nice! But you're writing poetry in a healing format.
My father is a poet,
Oh, wow.
and it's like I'm his poetry.
Oh, how nice! How beautifully put. Father से इनके लिए वाली. Okay, so we're basically going to talk about entrepreneurial depression, and we've been seeing a lot of it. And I got to know about it when I started my journey as an entrepreneur like 5 years ago. And when I look back and I still shiver down that I've come a long way and it's insane. So I see some pictures here, I see a lot, and you've come a long way, Kavel. And just to let the audience know, she has two kids already. And she's just 44. I think Chapmangi Patbya is right here.
Yeah.
But yes, so just starting the whole idea of entrepreneurial depression, not going in the terminology directly, but understanding the idea of it from your journey. Like, how did you start? How was your entrepreneurial career? How did you get into something like this? And was it always this good? How?
Oh, I never wanted to do anything. I wanted to be a princess and I wanted to be treated like a princess and married to a prince and be taken care of by someone else.
Wow.
Um, and nobody told me that that idea was faulty. Okay, now I go around telling everybody that that's a faulty idea because then you are making someone else responsible for what you are capable of or what you are supposed to do. And then when you don't do what you are supposed to do, you blame the other people for doing a shitty job.
Yeah.
I had a very difficult few first years of my marriage because I had these unrealistic expectations out of my husband कि भाई तू मुझे खुश कर जो फुलफिलमेंट मुझे मेरे काम से आनी चाहिए वो तू मुझे दे somehow मुझे इतना पैसा चाहिए तो तू कमा and again nobody told me कि ये क्या बकवास एक्सपेक्टेशन है मतलब तुम अपना खुद का करो ना um, but it was a lot of pressure on my husband and I didn't realize that it was unrealistic um, I went into a depression because I'm like यार something is off मतलब ये बंदा तो मुझे खुश नहीं कर पा रहा है जैसे जैसे मेरे फिल्मी दिमाग में था वो जो एक जर्नी हो गई ना फिर दैट having expectations then the delusion of the expectations not being fulfilled then that thing कि नहीं यार कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा because I was very depressive for a very long time from 2002 to 2006 I was extremely depressed. I was very suicidal from 2006 to 2008 till both my children were born.
Okay.
One was born in 2006, one was born in 2007. Up to 2008, I kept feeling like खत्म करते हैं यार इसको ये क्या जर्नी है मतलब गलती है ये रॉन्ग नंबर है दिस इज नॉट द राइट this is not the right life. I don't want this. I didn't sign up for it. I was not able to live properly. I was not even able to die properly. But then something changed. And when I was depressed, I used to keep looking at Oprah Winfrey the whole time. And I'm like, kya life hai yaar? I love the way she's connected to people. People just sit with her and they feel healed. They just sit with her and they feel connected. I wish I can connect with her someday. I've come from that to I wish I could heal people the way she heals, is where I am now.
How beautiful. How really beautiful. And how ironical it is that you're now mother of five. So much more, of course, a daughter. How is the whole journey impacting the spouse, the kids? How are things?
It's a constant evolution. I am not the mother to my children the way I was when they were 5 and 6 years old.
Okay.
At that time, they had a very different me. Now they have a very different me. And I'm sure that my husband has had to cope up with a lot because he married a home science graduate, bichari, choti si, who must have thought that, oh, she would always be the bichara, chota sa, easy to take care of. But I have discovered myself in the process. And as much as I'm very aware of the energy that I bring into the room, I'm very aware of what's the right thing to do, what is the better thing to do, and I do that. But I'm sure that it's not easy for him to put up with the constant media attention that is there on me, or the fame, or the level of work, or my pressure. It's not easy for him to want to spend time with me while I'm just busy answering 300 messages and taking emergency phone calls. It's not easy for my children when they realize that no, mama is not going to be there at this PTA also. It's not easy on me either, because I deal with a lot of guilt sometimes. My children are now going to go to university. The day we got them their admissions, I had my son's head on my lap and I was crying, hoping that he wouldn't know that I was just saying, I'm so sorry if I have not been able to be there for you enough. I hope that you forgive me. Um, and then he saw, he's saying, why are you crying, mom? Are you okay? I said, no, I'm not, because I'm going to miss you terribly. Sometimes I don't know whether it will be worth it in the end. The sacrifices that there have been sacrifices on my social life, there have been sacrifices on my body, there have been sacrifices on my rest. I don't have holidays. I hope that the amount of healing that goes out from my office or my hands to other people will compensate for it. But is it easy on my family? No. In fact, I should take this moment to apologize to them for having me as a core part of their life, and also say thank you for putting up with it.
Yeah. So, Kavyal, it's been a beautiful transformative journey now that you're speaking also, like I can have a flash right in front of me of the whole thing. Tell me one thing, I'm just talking about the career path, from not wanting to do anything to being depressed to then finding a purpose and getting into it. Of course, your husband coped a lot with it, but being so free to then being a mother and being so busy emotionally and mentally and personally to now being busy, taking care of your career. How has it happened with your husband? How has the marriage been? How has he taken it up? Of course, you just mentioned that things have been great, but there are a lot of women who actually go through the same kind of journeys. And what does this marriage tell you, and how are you going to take this to the people when it comes to their marriages?
It is a privilege for me to be married to a man who is so secure and so stable that my growth doesn't bother him.
Hmm.
He is, in fact, a very, very, very strong support. A lot of this has come by surprise to him as well. He wasn't prepared for this, nor was I. But he's a very fertile ground for me. He's not the one that will scream and shout on social media. We're not the people who will party saying, yay, 1000K followers or 1 million followers. We're not those people. His greatest contribution in my life is that he is so fertile as a ground that I am just the 3-4 seeds.
Yeah.
And just by having him, I have grown. And I can't take that away from him. If I had an insecure husband, or if I had a husband who had a problem, or he was the only one who wanted to be the successful one between the two of us, my marriage wouldn't have lasted. It's my privilege to have him, and I hope that it is his privilege to have me as well.
Sure.
But only
That's
he
I
can
guess
talk about it. When we go out for a party or somewhere, even after we've been married 24 years, people tell me, you're so lucky to have him, yeah. And I sometimes, like a child, like come back in the car and I'm like, why does nobody tell you
He's lucky.
that you're lucky to have me? But there's something about his aura. He's a very dedicated meditator. He's a very calm presence. He's a very calm influence. So I guess there is something that people see about him that they don't see in me, and I think that's भगवान ने मुझे ये दिया है ताकि मैं अपना काम करूँ। लिटरली आई फील लाइक समटाइम गॉड टेल्स मी कि तेरे लाइफ के सारे प्रॉब्लम्स ना वो मैं देख लूँगा, तू मेरा काम कर।
Yeah.
इट्स लाइक दैट।
How nice, how nice. So when we're talking about your entrepreneurial journey, where did it all begin? Because before having babies, after having babies, where was that whole point when you got this idea from God that, let's figure this space out? And
So when I was at the peak of my depression, I remember many days where I was in Bangalore and I was alone. I didn't know the language. It was just me the whole day waiting for my husband to come back from office. और कुछ भी एजेंडा नहीं था, बस तू वापस आ जा. And my husband was an absolute workaholic. सुबह 8 बजे निकलेगा, रात को 2 बजे आएगा. Now I moved from Bombay to Bangalore for him. No friends, language भी नहीं समझ में आती, कुछ काम नहीं है, कोई जॉब नहीं देगा. आई रिमेंबर स्पेंडिंग मेनी डेज थिंकिंग कि अरे मैं अभी अगर मर गई ना तो 14 घंटों तक किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा पूरा मर गई.
my God.
And there was a recurring thought, nobody will know for 14 hours that I'm dead. Nobody will know for 14 hours that I'm dead. If I sit in the victim perspective and I look at it, I would feel like अरे कोई है ही नहीं मेरी ध्यान रखने वाला. If I sit in an empowered perspective, I realize 14 घंटे अगर कोई रियलाइज नहीं करेगा कि तू मर गई है, which means are you really contributing to the world around you? Nobody is going to miss you. You're not needed. So be needed. Be of service. Do something that you are needed. That's when the transformation started. That I can't be this useless. I must be having कुछ तो सोच के भगवान ने पैदा किया होगा ना. Even if that means कि अब जाके कुछ बच्चों का ध्यान रखो, अब जाके कुछ लोगों को खाना खिलाओ, किसी की सेवा करो, कुछ तो कर सकते हो. That's when it started. And then it just got bigger. You know, सर्विस एक ऐसी चीज है कि अगर आप किसी के काम आते हो, द अमाउंट ऑफ डोपामीन हिट दैट इट गिव्स यू, द हैप्पी हार्मोन दैट इट गिव्स यू, it becomes an addiction. That I want to do more of this now. I finally feel of value. तो अगर किसी की सेल्फ एस्टीम लो है तो मैं आपको हमेशा बोलती हूँ जाके वॉलंटियर वर्क कर. Be of use to somebody else. Your life will never be the same. And then of course I had Oprah Winfrey's shadow behind me and her face in front of me the whole time saying, you are responsible for where you are. You are responsible for your state. And then I'm like, bhai, if I am responsible for my state, I don't want this state. After that, it was non-stop. After that, every single day I had a to-do list that what can I do to be useful today? What can I do to be useful today? And then I asked myself another question in a couple of years. What does God want done today?
How nice.
And then whatever would come, I'm like, let's get to work. Let's get to work.
So where was the first service? Where did you begin? And how did you begin? Yes.
Very interesting that you asked me. I'm a Gujarati. Okay. So in my house, Krishna, who we call Lala, is that little deity that we have. And when I was very lonely in Bangalore, I used to sit with my Krishna and I used to complain. ये कैसी लाइफ दी है, ऐसा पूरी होता है, ये सब मजहर बना के रखा है मेरी लाइफ में. And then my father told me that you're complaining so much to do something good for him. So I'm like, do something good for him? What can I do good for him? I just sit and talk to him, but that idea stayed. Then I started creating modern furniture for Krishna when I was 20. So cradles, rocking cradles, 4-poster beds. I actually started designing temples in a very modern way. Literally the way they would do doll houses.
Yeah.
I started doing deity houses.
Wow.
And then I started doing exhibitions with these things that, okay, you know, our children also need to be inspired कि वो लोग भी आके सेवा करें. They don't want the same age old जो 100 साल से डिजाइन चला आ रहा है. But if we give them a rocking bed, a rocking cradle, the children will be like, oh, I want to do this.
Yeah.
That's the first service that I started back to my Krishna. And then, of course, I started serving children and children in schools, and then the parents and the teachers, and now it's just.
So basically counseling them for their good and bad days, all kinds of days.
Yes.
Oh, very nice. But when, of course, it was your first entrepreneurial idea when you were 20. Was it, of course, it was commercial.
It was commercial.
Yeah. So when you started, because we're here to talk about entrepreneurial depression, Of course, you're getting out of one, but did it impact you? Oh, it's going well. Oh, it's not going well. Or where is it going?
Before that, I even started to do a food venture.
Okay.
Okay, this was again in Bangalore where we took up a stall for the A.R. Rahman concert.
Nice.
And we made some 300 vada pavs or 300 taberis, stayed up to, 2 nights and organized everything. And that was a complete flop because it rained cats and dogs and all the food was wasted. No one turned up at the concert. And I remember that my body was paining up to my fingernails. I've never experienced pain like that. I've never experienced that, oh, this is what being a failure means. Like I completely lost 12,000 bucks. I'm a 20-year-old who lost 12,000 bucks. The first venture she tried to do, she lost money. She's a failure that never left. I shut down. Of course, it was not my fault, but it didn't work. Then I started the tempo thing, and then I realized that I had to move back and that I had to shut that down. I failed 16 times in my life in 16 entrepreneurial ventures. 16 times.
That's something.
And today I understand because I failed at those things, I found this. And I was made to do this. And this is what every entrepreneur needs to understand that if something is not working for you, you're being redirected. You're being redirected to where your energies belong most. So today I have no qualms about it. कि यार वो 16 failure नहीं थे, वो 16 experiments थी.
Exactly.
And that with every experiment I learned क्या अच्छा लगता है, क्या अच्छा नहीं लगता, क्या चल रहा है, क्या नहीं चल रहा, पैसे कहाँ से आते हैं, फेम कहाँ से आता है, कितना मेहनत करना पड़ता है. That was schooling. Now I'm out of school.
Yeah. So when you're talking about 16 entrepreneurial failures, I mean, I can't even digest. When I don't have like 5 clients paying me and I'm like, oh my God, what is this that I'm going to do? I listen to this and this only inspires me better. Tell me one thing, because a lot of people go through this, that more than themselves, they're worried, log kya kahenge? 16 बार fail होना is something else.
मैं आपको मतलब the best thing that happened to me, the best thing that happened was that 16 बार fail होने के बाद I got immune to failure.
Yeah.
Of course, I got immune to it. तो अब failure से डर नहीं लगता. That is why I succeeded.
Yeah.
क्या होगा ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 17 टाइम फेल हो जाएंगे ना, आगे बोलो. तो 16 बार हो चुके हैं. मेरे से भी लोगों को कोई expectation नहीं है. If you really want to be successful, get immune to failure. Most people's dreams don't take off because they are scared of failure. Now, I just look at every failed experiment as क्या सिखाया उसमें से, अच्छा ये नहीं चल रहा, ठीक है, मतलब कुछ और चलेगा. Okay, so if you get immune to failure, if you don't allow that big fear of failure to block you, nothing will stop you from being successful.
So was there any point where, like, your parents or your husband, they said something that, what are you up to? And did it impact you? How is the whole...
Yeah, I do remember that when I was sailing at all these ventures, in all of those ventures, I was making 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 bucks. Right? It was hard. The first time I chose to invest 15,000 rupees in a Landmark Forum Advanced program. Okay. My mother, she said, are you mad? You got 15,000 rupees. Buy some gold with it.
Yeah.
Are you mad? Are you putting it into a program? Seriously? And I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. She's saying, what are you going to learn from there? I said, I don't know, but I feel the need to put it into my own education. That was one. The second time when there was another venture where I was working for some other people, this company called ISRA, and they were paying me 150 to 200 rupees a day, and I would have to answer phone call after phone call for them. It was like a marketing job. Okay, that Nokia dabba ho. And sometimes I would answer close to 80 to 100 phone calls in a day while I'm feeding my baby, while I'm cooking, while I'm working from home. My father-in-law used to tell me, 200 रुपया माटे आटली मगज मारी बेस ने शांति दी. Why are you working so hard for 200 bucks? But for me, those 200 rupees a day was like oxygen. I'm like, no. When और रोज काम नहीं मिलता था. I would get work 7, 8, 10 days. Whenever there would be an article. So that 4,000 or 5,000 rupees that I would earn, then that I can think with these 5,000 bucks. I can do something.
I will rich.
Yes, I'm rich. So a lot of people used to say, "Itne paise ke liye kya?" But what people didn't see was that each one of those small things were investments into me. Exactly. And your venture, you may have a very different idea that this is what my venture is going to look like, but the venture could start off looking very different.
Yeah.
And it could end up somewhere else.
Yeah.
There is a thing I've experienced in my own journey that if I get a opportunity, I feel like, ये ठीक-ठाक opportunity है, ले लेते हैं. It's not great, but whatever, we'll take it. That small opportunity has always led to the best opportunity.
Yeah.
So I have this mantra, kiss a lot of frogs. Whatever opportunity is coming, take them. Something will turn into something better.
Yeah. So this some beautiful looking at a different perspective of an entrepreneurial thought process and the whole process. When you say that you can kiss a lot of frogs while being in the journey, there's something called that's happening in the world, where to say no, how to say no, having your own niche, this, that. A lot of that gas is there. Just letting
That's important.
Yeah.
That's important. But I'm talking about 15 years before now. At that time, मेरी कोई औकात नहीं थी to say, I'm not going to take that. Because beggars can't be choosers. It's important for me to say no now because I have options.
Exactly.
But an entrepreneur, when you are starting your journey, you can't say, no, I want to wait for the right opportunity to come to me. Only then I will strike. Sometimes you have to take what comes your way.
Yeah.
Because if you say that, no, I want it from that brand will say, who are you exactly? And why should I come to you? Right? You have to build yourself up before you can start saying, no, sorry, before you can start being choosy and exclusive.
Yeah.
Those boundaries come into place later.
Yeah.
When you are established. When you are not established, at that time you take what comes.
Yeah. How many years of your professional journey, Kavya?
18.
18. It's after 18 years you're choosing to say yes or
Yes,
that's like a biggest idea that one newcomers that they should know. Also, just wanted to know, there are a lot of articles about, when you want to be an entrepreneur, you're supposed to have this 3 C's, 4 C's, 5 A's, this, that, all of that. Great. But I want to know, when you are becoming an entrepreneur, when you're moving towards that journey, what kind of emotional quotient and what kind of strength do you need is what I want to know for you.
When you are saying an entrepreneur needs a 3 C's, 4 C's, 4 A's, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I didn't come from that background. I'm a home science graduate. My education was about how to cook food, how to take care of your children, how to manage the house, how to take care of the home finance, how to remove stains from your table linen. That was my education for 5 years. When I came out into the world, I came out with a degree that made me a professional housewife. It didn't make me a professional anything, but what it taught me was to be a jack of all.
Exactly.
Okay, that I had multiple skills now. I was a master of none. I failed maths all my life. So I was no chance I was going to do commerce, no chance I was going to do business, none of that. Today, the way I look at it is that it was a blessing. It was a blessing that I didn't know because nobody told me what I can't do. No one told me what I can't do. ओ बिजनेस में ऐसा नहीं होता, ये नहीं कर सकते. अरे ये तो पता ही नहीं, हम लोगों ने तो कर लिया. ये तो हो गया. अच्छा लेकिन चल गया. हाँ, कुछ चला, कुछ नहीं चला. जो नहीं चला उसको छोड़ दिया, जो चला उसको आगे लेके गए. But I read a lot of books I read a lot of, there are certain biographies. I read Dhirubhai Ambani. I read a lot of other people who started off with nothing. And in their books, I saw a lot of jugaad.
Exactly.
I am a product of jugaad. I am not a product of jargon. If you put me in an MBA class today, I'll still be lost. I'm like, "Ye kya baat kar raha hai?" But I have learned to trust my gut instinct, and I have learned to see other people's journeys. Even Oprah Winfrey, and just looking at how she started, how she took every chance that she got. I've always gone with the emotions, and I've always gone with guidance. I've never gone with the education. I didn't have it. तो मेरे पास जो था मैंने उसकी खिचड़ी बनाई.
Yeah, I think there's a clone sitting here of you. I've been an art student. I've only seen journalism, or I went ahead with the idea यही आता है यही करेंगे.
Exactly.
इसके अलावा कुछ पता नहीं है. So creating those kind of ventures around it, and maybe playing safe, maybe not playing safe, but creating that kind of culture. That's exactly what's happening. Nothing about math, nothing happening.
And one more thing I've understood is that every woman who's watching me there, who feels like, हाँ यार हमको भी नहीं आता, शायद हम लोगों ने भी इसलिए नहीं किया. I have to tell you this. You are enough. And what you know is enough. You can start with what you have. You can start with where you are right now with what you know. Of course, you can pick up tools in the journey. But what you have now is enough to start.
Yes. So when we talk about struggles, when we talk about so much happening, be it you, be it any entrepreneur, going through so much like a financial crunch, mothering, everything. How did you deal with this, and who were there? Like your friends, everybody, how were things?
I would not have been alive if it wasn't for my friends. My friends have been my biggest support systems. I think they are equal partners in my success. Because even today, if I have to do a podcast and I'm like, guys, I don't have the time to prepare for this. Okay. And I'm like, can you do some research on this? And somebody else will take it over and saying, okay, we found this. But they are constantly there. They are protective. They're investigative. They will tell me what's the right opportunity, what's not the right opportunity. 3 o'clock in the morning, they will be there. Now I realize that you are only as rich as the quality of your friends is.
Absolutely.
So for every entrepreneur, you have to understand that it's going to get lonely. And there will be a lot of fake friends who, when you start becoming successful, will fall off because you are no longer a vibrational match. Let them go. Let them go. But there will be a few people. I have 4 people who are my pillars. And I don't need more than these 4 people. But if you're making all the money in the world, but you don't have 2 friends you can't trust, all the money is good for nothing.
Absolutely.
So your social circle is your safety circle.
Yeah.
Create those friends and don't let them go.
Yeah. So when you talk about friendship, when you talk about they being with you whenever you wanted, were you, of course, you were vulnerable. Can you also tell how entrepreneurs, matlab, a lot of friends, they'll boast in front of you, oh, I am making so much money because this other person is saying, oh, they're making so much money. Even with best of friends, they sometimes get into that influence that they don't want to show off, or they don't want to show what's happening, like, on the other side. Sometimes you just want to go all out, say, oh, boss, I've done this. That, and hiding the whole emotion ki boss nahi ho raha hai, it's difficult. Maybe that's their way of manifesting that, when you say out something like this, what you want, saying that ye ho raha hai, maybe ho jayega. But actually aisa hota nahi hai. So what do you want to tell these entrepreneurs who cannot own what's happening? जब तक own नहीं होगा तो accept नहीं होगा. But the whole situation of showing that emotion to the friends.
Friends के साथ ना strategize मत कर. कि मैं ऐसा सोचूंगा तो ऐसे होगा, ऐसा सोचूंगा तो ऐसे होगा. आपके फ्रेंड्स ऐसे होने चाहिए कि अगर आपका दिमाग ठीक नहीं चल रहा है तो वो आपको प्यार से एक थप्पड़ ही मार देंगे, वो थप्पड़ ले लेना, दिमाग ठिकाने आ जाएगा. um, your friends are supposed to be your mirrors, and when you can be very honest and truthful with them, they will only think better for you. Why people don't talk is because they don't trust these friends, and you should not also. um, but the friends that I have, I've had them for 10 years plus each, sometimes some of them 30 years plus.
Yeah.
When you have those people, देन नहीं है ना, ये नजर लग जाएगी, ये अरे तुम्हारे अपनों की नजर नहीं लगेगी तुम्हें, लेकिन वो तुम्हारे अपने हैं कि नहीं, वो आपके बिहेवियर से समझ में आता है. दैट आर यू आल्सो कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टू देयर लाइफ द वे दे आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग टू योर्स. सेल्फ डाउट kills more dreams than anything else does. Fear kills more dreams than anybody else does. And authenticity and honesty and that truth will empower you more than anything else will. Use your friends to be that honest, empathetic, authentic. You will only grow from there. But if you feel like नहीं मैं ऐसा बोलूँगा तो ऐसा, ऐसा सोचूंगा तो ऐसा, यार सोचने में से ही ऊपर आओगे तब तो काम करोगे. Cut the crap.
Yeah, like you can't bluff your friends, because if you're bluffing them, you're bluffing.
Yeah, it's like saying that you can't be lying to your lawyers and your doctors, right? They're the ones that are going to save you. My friends are my lawyers and doctors, and yours should be too.
Yeah. So when we talk about friendship, when we talk about entrepreneurs in the whole journey, how do you think when they bring in the opportunities for you, or maybe you do a business with them, what is the kind of psychological perspective would you give? Like whatever money you make, of course it's going to be 50-50, but फिर एक बार एक level पे आ गए, there are a lot of issues happening financially between best of friends, and they're losing their best of friends in the partnership because of the professional thing.
Yeah.
Where, how can they mature in that? Because I think when two friends hold themselves so well, I think they should have a business. But a lot of these people, they also get fearful कि यार इसकी वजह से दोस्ती चली जाए.
Correct.
Something on those lines.
हाँ. Not all friends should do business together.
Yeah.
Okay. Because दो लोग बहुत अलग अलग बिलीफ सिस्टम से आ सकते हैं. वन कुड कम फ्रॉम अ बिलीफ सिस्टम ऑफ नहीं यार देयर इज इनफ इन द वर्ल्ड, वील मैनेज मोर. द अदर वन कुड बी कमिंग फ्रॉम अ बिलीफ सिस्टम ऑफ नहीं नहीं पागल है, खत्म हो जाएगा ये, क्राइसिस के लिए बचाना चाहिए. तो जब दो दोस्त एक साथ बिजनेस करते हैं ना, उनके पुराने बिलीफ सिस्टम्स वॉर पे आ जाते हैं. इट्स नॉट दीज टू पीपल, इट्स व्हाट यू हैव इन योर सबकॉन्शियस, एंड योर सबकॉन्शियस इज 90% ऑफ योर माइंड. So very often we are not able to explain that, listen, my war is not with you, my war is actually with me. And you are triggering it the whole time. You are forcing me to do things which I am uncomfortable with. At that time, yes, you could lose the friendship. So unless you are not healed on up to a large aspect, that like, yeah, I've done a lot of work on my abundance blocks, I've done a lot of work on my self-esteem, and we are both very secure people, then you try and get into something. Otherwise, keep the business out of the friendship.
No, because when both of them are business people in different, ventures or whatever, I really feel two people can actually bring out a lot with each other. But I think money is one thing. What do you have to say? Like how money changes everything?
Money does change everything. Yeah. Because money, it's not money per se, but money also equates eventually to your self-confidence. It equates to your self-respect. It equates to how you see yourself in society. So it's like earlier I was standing on ground floor, now I'm standing on 10th floor. Ground floor से मेरा view अलग है, 10th floor से मेरा view अलग है. Okay, so it will change the world around you. And the more money you make, the more money you want to make. So if you have again two friends, one is, अरे यार बस है, बहुत हो गया, enough, we've created enough, and the other one says, नहीं यार मेरी तो भूख बढ़ गई. So then they would be like, क्या बात कर रहा है? We had decided we were going to close at this, and now we were going to chill. But we are evolving and changing as people as we grow. that is also a dynamic that can hurt two friends. That one will say, "Nahi, yeah, we agreed that I was going to stop here, but now I want to go further." And the other one feels betrayed that what the hell? We were both going to stop here. But two people will always have their own individual journeys. This is the reason for most of the divorces as well.
Yeah.
Because one could be just happy with what there is, the other one would say, "No, I want more out of life." Same thing applies to friendships. The same rules will apply to teams in your offices as well. It's just a different belief systems. That's why before you get into friendship, just the way before you get into a marriage, go to a counselor. Before you get into a friendship that's doing business, go to a counselor. Identify your belief systems. See where you need to work. ये वाला प्रॉब्लम आएगा तो कैसे हैंडल करेंगे, लीगल प्रॉब्लम हो गया तो कैसे करेंगे, तुम्हारे पापा ने इंटरफियर कर दिया तो कैसे करेंगे.
Exactly.
These are things you need to understand before you make that contract.
Yeah. What do you have to say? Like, one thing I wanted to know, because there are a lot of couples in business together. Like, one is a co-founder, or maybe taking care of marketing, maybe taking care of HR, but being together all the time, or maybe just brainstorming with each other all the time, and then going with the same mindset home, maybe same discussions. Where do you think these kind of marriages going? And then we talk about all of this today.
It becomes difficult. In a marriage, it's very important that the spouses miss each other. It's very important that they crave for each other, that they want to come home and then discuss the day. But when two spouses working together, there's no space. There's no space because everything is happening in front of you the whole time. I can blame you for how you behaved at office. You will blame me for how I behaved at home. It does become a messy situation. But a lot of spouses work together. It doesn't mean that the marriage is doomed. But what is recommended is at least both of you have your own individual friends or social circles.
Yeah.
That both of you can go on your own solo trips and solo holidays as well. Or you go with your friends, he goes with his friends. So that you get some breathing space. So that you get to replenish yourself. Everything is not done as a couple. You are not born together, you're not going to die together. Sacred spaces, like this is my space and this is my space, is needed. अगर आप काम साथ में कर रहे हैं तो थोड़ी अलग सी ऐसे दुनिया बनाओ कि कुछ चीजें हैं जो आप साथ में नहीं कर रहे.
Like, last three questions, Kabil, and this question is about, you've also started from nothing and everything has happened, and then you hear that you are बहुत नज़र की भी बात होती है, बहुत हर तरीके की बात होती है, बहुत सारे लोगों को पता होगा आप कितना कमाते हो, फिर वहाँ से भी ये बात किसी को बताना आता है. All of this happens. A lot of people become yours. You, in these kind of situations, you get to know that these are your people. But there are a lot of people, when they start making money, they change. As you said, that first floor से या ground floor से अलग view है and 10th से अलग है. But what to keep in mind when you're actually starting to make money? Because you get this aura, no, ki, yeah, I am rich. Because of course you're coming from nothing to now building something. You're like, even if I get the 500 rupees in my pocket, I'm like, I'm rich, I'm going to spend this because this is extra money. So what do you think entrepreneurs should do when they're moving into this space, when they're looking settled in their business?
I'll give you a very spiritual perspective on this, okay? Spiritually we say कि अगर आप हार्ट सर्जन हैं और आप बहुत सक्सेसफुल हो गए और बहुत ईगो में बैठ गए, ह्यूमिलिटी भूल गए, तो आपका हार्ट ही आपको मारेगा. अगर आप न्यूरो सर्जन हैं, ह्यूमिलिटी भूल गए, आपका ब्रेन ही आपको मारेगा. आप पीडियाट्रिशियन हैं, ह्यूमिलिटी भूल गए, आपके बच्चे के थ्रू ही आपको तकलीफ आनी है. नेचर हैज अ वे ऑफ grounding you using your own speciality. So if today I forget my humility, I forget my grounding, I forget where I came from, I forget gratitude, my emotions will kill me. They will be the end of my career. Okay. So it doesn't matter, and God bless every single person with tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of money. But when you have tons and tons of money, you will come to a point in life where one day you are not counting your paisa kitna aaya bank mein. That same paisa doesn't give you joy anymore. Now it just becomes more money. Don't forget the people on your way up. Because there will be a day when you will be on your way down and you will meet the same people on your way down. एक मैंगो का झाड़ होता है ना, कैरी का झाड़ होता है, जितनी उस पे कैरी आती है ना वो उतना झुकता है. झुको in gratitude that thank you, I'm that your humility is the best part of any person. Your ego is the worst part. So you choose who you want to be and you adjust your attitude accordingly. Otherwise, your speciality will kill you.
Of course. How spirituality gets you, like how you become more closer to spirituality when you become an entrepreneur? Is there, I know there's a desperate way, there's a manifested way, there's an Instagram way because people are saying they did all of this, and that's why people became rich. So, yeah, I want a perspective from you.
When you're an entrepreneur, आप साम दाम दंड भेद सब कुछ लगा देंगे अपने काम में. हर एक चीज चलेगी कुछ कुछ वक्त तक. एक टाइम आएगा कि इन चारों में से कुछ नहीं चल रहा, तो आप ये सब छोड़ के ऊपर देखेंगे कि भैया चला दे, मेरी गाड़ी चला दे. At that time, some miraculous events will happen. You'll come across a book, you'll come across a mentor, you could come across 2 simple reels, पर वो चल जाएगा. That's when you know that, oh, I'm never left alone. But all I had to do was ask for help. But sometimes asking for help makes us feel vulnerable. We don't like feeling vulnerable. We feel like, what's that dialogue for that film? कभी कभी अपने को लगता है कि आप पुनिश भगवान है. जब आप उस ईगो पे चले जाते हैं, भगवान को भूल जाते हैं, तो भगवान आपको याद दिलाते हैं कि भाई जहाँ है वहाँ रहे. Again, just going back to your first step to spirituality is gratitude and humility. Never forget where you've come from. Never forget your roots. Never forget to give back to where you got things from. If you become a hoarder, कि नहीं मुझे सब कुछ मेरे लिए ही चाहिए, मेरे लिए चाहिए, मेरे लिए चाहिए, मेरे लिए चाहिए, आपके पास नई चीजें आना बंद हो जाएंगे. In fact, if somebody wants endless money, I always tell them that decide beforehand कि जब मेरे पास इतना पैसा आएगा ना, तो मैं उसमें से इतने परसेंटेज का मैं दान करूंगा, या मैं किसी एक चैरिटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एनिमल्स, मदर अर्थ, जहां पे आपकी मर्जी है, so much of a percentage I will give. God wants you to be rich so that you can do something good with that money. So if you are committing beforehand that I will, trust me, I have good hands, you can give me the money, I'm not going to misuse it. God wants to bless you with it because He wants you to do His work. Use your capabilities well.
Yeah, this is such a wonderful perspective. Nobody thinks from this perspective कि मैं इतना दान करूंगा. सब यही सोचते हैं कि यार ये आ जाए तो ये बंगला, ये गाड़ी, इसका ये हमारा, उसका ये हमारा.
नया नया पैसा आता है तब ये होता है. But for people who feel like नहीं लेकिन हमको इतना पैसा चाहिए ही नहीं, I also have to tell you this. We have a moral obligation to be rich.
Yeah.
We owe it to the world to be rich.
Yeah.
Because money is an energy that if it doesn't come to the right hands, it'll go to the wrong hands.
Oh, absolutely.
And if it goes to the wrong hands, they will misuse it. So if you have good hands, if you have a good mind, if you have a good heart and a head on 2 strong shoulders, become rich.
Yeah.
And then use that money then.
Yeah. Correct. Last question. One advice for female entrepreneurs, because I hate the word female to be used, because you're either an entrepreneur, male, female, whatever, or you're an employee or whatever. But one thing, how important it is in the times of asking for alimony, in the times of asking for things that are not fair, in the times of being women who don't want to do anything but would want the husband to provide. How important it is to be, independent financially.
I'm very passionate about this. If you really want something, there is 2 rules to it. If you really want something, never outsource it. Create it yourself. Second, you don't get anything for nothing. There is always a price to pay. Always. You really want to become rich, it's not your husband's job. You really want luxury? It's not your in-laws' job. You really want to be pampered? It's not your parents' job. Yes, these could be perks that have come to you in life from time to time. But you really want it? Do it yourself. And do it yourself so that you understand that you can do it. So that you understand how powerful you are. So that, you have a self-esteem that nobody can take away from you. Today, your husband is pampering you. You got all the luxuries in the world. Tomorrow, if your husband doesn't want to be with you, can you imagine how scared you're going to be? But if you are sitting in a space where मेरे पास जो भी है ना मैंने खुद create किया है, and still this man wants to go away, you'd be like, yeah, that's sad. I wish it worked out, but that's okay. I'll take care of myself. Yeah, yeah. As a woman, you owe it to you that your money is your security. Your ability to work and your acknowledgement that yes, I can work is your security. Don't give that remote control to anybody else.
Be it a free money that you think it is. Yeah.
Nothing free lasts forever. There are no free lunches in the world here.
So not good.
Hard for it. Work hard for it.
Yes.
You will. God is waiting for you to see your own potential
Exactly.
because He gave you something that is of value. But very few of us really open that gift box and see कि क्या है क्या मेरे पास. बहुत लोगों ने तो कभी देखा भी नहीं है what they can do and what they can't do.
Thank you so much, Kamil, for this beautiful conversation. And to be honest, I'll tell you something. Even I've been working or whatever. Like my husband and I, we earn almost the same amount. We don't have kids. We're good. But sometimes because he makes me save a lot. And I'm like, bhai, I want to spend if I want to do something. So whatever money I'm drawing from my company, it either is going to get saved or I putting it in the, to make the home things work. And I then go to him because I love bags and I've been loving bags. So I tell him that, you know what, then you buy me this bag, then you buy me this bag. And then I sometimes feel that I am an entrepreneur. I have like infinity of, opportunities, like innumerable opportunities coming to me. He's an employee. He's working with something. But then I realized, I need to push him. If I don't push him, he's not going to get out of his comfort zone. What if I start taking care of my own and he doesn't even give a damn about that idea that, oh, listen, I am right here. So what if he doesn't work hard to get to a different designation, and what if he stays? So that's why I actually put that particular thing on him. Bags to do lage 40, 50, 70 wo tu dekhe. But I feel so bad. But I do it so that he knows there's an abort. There's a responsibility because there are no kids. There's only a house and that's also bought. So I feel like you can't be in this, like in this zone, because there's no pressure. And men, they tend to get into their comfort zones because there is nothing like responsibility. क्योंकि 20,000 40,000 वो तो उससे बहुत अच्छा ऐसे ही कमा रहा है. So I actually poke him. I feel bad. Like my family also tells me that you've never taken anything from us. Like when you were 16, you moved out and you were doing things on your own. You've never taken money. Why are you bothering him? Like, this is my way of making him get out of his zone because he should know that this girl is going to demand her bags like every 1 year. Where are my bags? Like, this is that time. And when you say this, I feel bad, but then I have to do it. I have different reasons.
Yes, you're not dependent on him for your livelihood. This is your way of pushing him.
Oh, yeah.
To make sure that he's doing as much as he is capable of doing.
Yeah.
So that's a very different thing altogether.
Yeah, but then when I listen to him, like, yeah, let's just let him be. Then I realized, no, I can't let him be. Then that money, then will become this money holder, will just hold money and it'll go out in different ways which we would not want it to go. Like in hospitals, in different ways, because that money wouldn't stay. When you don't spend, you don't earn. It's just that idea. So thank you so much, Kavil, for all your time. This is beautiful. This is one of my best. Like I've interviewed Sanjay Dutt, Salman, everybody, and I'm like, this is the
Oh my
best.
God, I'm flattered. Now it's pressure.
No, but this because this comes from somewhere I can relate. I don't know math at all. When people say that we'll have a fees hike of 20%, after 20%, then Nikhil will be like, my husband is so 20,000. It's 20 कुछ ज़्यादा है. You understand? It's like, so now I've started ChatGPT कि इसका 20% कितना है. I was like 8,000 hat मेरे को नहीं करना. So I've become this कि you can't give me just 8,000, you have to give me more. It's like, how late do you realize that? So I'm very happy with the idea that they think also that there's supposed to be a fees hike. I've come from that perspective that, किसी को इतना काम पसंद आया है, because I'm also very new to this whole idea. So learned nothing. My sister is an MBA. She works with Zurich Airport and all of that. But when I look at myself, I'm such a zilch in all of this. And my husband is an investment banker. So when this padha likha guys, I feel like a padha likha unpad.
I feel that I married my gold medalist husband so that he could do everything that I can't even process in my head.
Yeah, I tell him the same thing. It's like, when I want to earn so much, I said, I've kept you for this. You're married because like you'll count money like that. So yes, thank you again.